Well, it was your business by helping to create it. So it's not your business, their results. I think you should take some credit on that as well. But anyway, I'm joking. I had some weeks ago Elisa Spiropali in this show commenting on the changes of the cabinet.
Yeah.
And also it was commented a lot because you actually reacted very swiftly. In every change that it was proclaimed by the Prime Minister, it was like you were giving the okay immediately. So do you have influence on that as well? I mean, have we come to that point that actually, even when we make changes in the cabinet, is the US that actually okays it at the end?
Sokol. Albania is a sovereign country. Albania is a sovereign country. So I think people have these notions, these conspiracies, these fantasies that somehow the United States is responsible for everything. And ultimately...
We wish so, actually.
I think ultimately Albania's leaders and Albania's people are responsible for Albania. It's not anybody else's responsibility. On the specific question that you asked, it really is the case, just as I texted to Elisa, that I have fast fingers, that's why I reacted so quickly.
But it was impressive that actually the then Secretary of State congratulated directly the newly appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs of Albania. That was unprecedented, Mrs. Olta Gjajka.
I think that we recognize that she performed very well as Defense Secretary, and she really conducted her business in a way that strengthened the relationship between the United States and Albania. And it's appropriate in those circumstances to express appreciation for that. And of course, as her counterpart as Foreign Minister, it's appropriate for him, and I think very welcome for him to congratulate her on her new appointment. So
let's talk about it. Maybe it's the time to talk about this new military exercise that it's going to happen this year. What's the message that America is giving to the Balkans with the new administration? Because you know that from the previous administrations, there were certain moves, there was an agreement that was, I know that you don't want to talk about, countries that you're not involved, but in general. Yeah. So the previous administration was involved in a direct agreement to resolve a very difficult issue, the normalization between Albanians and Serbs concerning Kosovo. So we know Mr. Biden is a strong supporter of Kosovo. In actions, not only in words. So what should we expect from the United States when it comes to the role it has in the Balkans, and especially in the relationships with Albanians?
I think that, first of all, I would recommend that you read the transcript of Mr. Blinken's testimony before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee when he had his hearing to become Secretary of State. And in that, he affirmed support for the agreement that was reached between Serbia and Kosovo to expand economic relations. And I think we have every intention now in the Biden administration to build on that. It's a good start, and it's important that we get the Balkans right. I'd also say that Matt Palmer, who is the Deputy Assistant Secretary, has also commented on this, I think about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Now, coming back to the elections in Albania, when we had our first interview in Vlora last summer, one of your answers, which was a normal answer to a normal question by me, about how good and refreshing a political rotations is, made actually many people happy from the side of the oppositions, because they took it as a message that the US actually supports a rotation, a political rotation in the country. Do you still stand by that statement?
So let me clarify that. What I meant was, in principle, changes of government, transfers of power in a peaceful way are good. And that is what elections are all about. But elections are also about the choice of voters. And so it's not for me or for anybody outside Albania to comment on when transitions should take place and who should transfer in. That's for the Albanian voters to decide.
Okay, this government actually thinks that is entitled to fight for a third mandate, but that's kind of an icy territory we're sleeping in, because if they win, it's going to be the first time ever that a single party rules the country for a long period of time, which may go to 12 years. And to me, that's a new social experiment that never happened before. You said, of course, and we all know that that's the will of the people. If they decide that a party will have to rule them for the next 4 years, it's up to them, as long as the result is clean and free. But do you see a problem on that?
You answered your own question, so-called.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking with out loud.
It's for voters to decide. It's not for the American ambassador or any other foreigner to decide.
How do you see the work of this government?
What do you mean?
I mean, how do you see the country? Is the country better? Is the country worse?
I think from the perspective of the United States, we have had good cooperation with this government. We have had good cooperation with previous governments as well. So we are pleased with that, and we hope that, and we are confident actually, that no matter what happens on April 25th, as far as the relationship between Washington and Tirana, that will remain strong.
That I'm quite sure, because I see that even from the other side, from the opposition side, I mean, despite whatever happened in 2019, at the end of the day, they follow suit. They follow suit. They corrected their mistakes, and I think your influence, your positive influence, it's visible on them. And I don't see any element that previously, let's say, jeopardized the relationship between the U.S. and the Democratic Party or the LSI is having an influence today, which is a good thing. What do you expect from the new political movements? Do you think they will have an impact, electorally speaking? Because there are some new parties that are coming out.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a very short answer. The TVs are inundated with different polls. Have you seen them, and what is your opinion?
I see the polls, but you know, polls are not votes. So I think you know, they can serve as a guide for expectations, but ultimately, what matters is who shows up on April 25th, and